When your boss or your client come to you with a problem, do you know how to solve it in a way that earns their trust and has them coming back again and again and again and again? The truth is, most people rush to answers, and I've been guilty of it myself. That's why I know it's not the right way to do it. The proper way to solve problems is to address the root causes and not just treat the symptoms. For those of you who are new here, my name is Santiago, and by the age of 20 years old, I got multiple offers from Big Four Consulting. I signed with Fortune 500s. I've worked with some very big projects with operational insights in regards to problem solving and giving solutions. Today, I'll share with you the exact 4-step framework that many people smarter than myself have taught me in order to deliver a proper solution, solve problems, and have clients or your boss or whatever be very happy with the results that you can deliver. So for clarify, it's best if I give you an example. When I was building a tailored dashboard solution for a big company, the task was very vague. So in that given situation, it was understanding what the dashboard was for. What are the shortcomings of the current dashboards? Is there current dashboards? What information is missing? And what implementations should be made to these dashboards to ensure that these gaps can be filled and management can see the information that they want to see? This whole process is gaining clarity of what the demands for your client or for your boss are so that you can actually fulfill them. You can make criteria for yourself and fulfill them as a tailored solution for exactly what they're looking for. Many times you'll find there's no cookie cutter answer. Every operation is different. Every shortcoming is different. And so to fill these gaps, you first have to identify the gaps. This is clarity. Now to the second step, analyze. Ask yourself, why does this problem exist? Why has it not been solved yet? So in that dashboard example that I gave you, the results vary. Many times, a lot of the data that they were looking for simply didn't exist. And so people that built the dashboard prior, they didn't know how to either access that information or it didn't exist. Then sometimes you would find simply the person who had built the dashboard in the past hadn't built it tailored to the new manager's expectations. Maybe there's a new manager that came in and wants to see different KPIs, wants to see different data displayed. So it's all about tailoring to exactly what the current operations are at that moment, finding out why had it not been done. And you'll find many times the problems that existed in the past as to why somebody else wasn't able to fix that problem previously will be the same problems that you'll run into when you try to fix these problems. So in my case, when I was building these dashboards, it was a mix of things. It was a new director that had arrived that wanted to see new information that was not collected internally. So it was a very tricky thing to solve, but that's the analysis part. What is the problem? So now with clarify and analyze, you understand the operations, you understand how the solution is supposed to look like, what it's supposed to fix, and you also understand the shortcomings. So what are the problems? Why has this not been done yet? And what can we do? That's what you're starting to think, which leads perfectly to step number 3, which is solution. This is where all the inquiring that you made in the 2 previous steps comes into fruition, comes into something that's tangible. You now design the solution based on the understanding that you attained, and you ensure to incorporate all the shortcomings that you understood. So what were the problems with the solution? Why hadn't it been solved yet? And if it hadn't, how can we solve it? So you're incorporating all these things into now designing the solution. One problem you may find yourself running into is over-engineering a solution. If it takes longer to make the solution and implement it than the time it would save, then it's not really a good solution now, is it? It's about understanding the ROI of the time it's going to take you to make your solution and the amount of time it's going to save. Now, for the solution making process, it's very crucial that as you start making these prototypes to solve for the shortcomings that you've identified, for example, with the dashboards, I'm continuously going to the director, going to the client, going to my boss to ensure that, okay, does this fit your specs, your specifications? Do they match? Will this be useful to you? Or is it just another dashboard that really doesn't mean anything for you? Make sure that as you're designing this, it's perfectly tailored to meet the demands of that which your boss or your client or the director, whoever is demanding it, can agree with and can say, yes, this brings value to my operation. You will find yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times a day going into the office of the director, of your boss, of the client, asking, is this good? Is this good? And that's good. That is how it's supposed to be. The only way to ensure that your vision is congruent, your solution is congruent with that of their vision, with what they need for their operations to actually provide value, is by getting that feedback. This is the difference between a solution that provides value, that solves a problem, and a solution that, once implemented, will never get used again. Now, this leads on perfectly to execute, which is the fourth and final part of this framework. You see, you must understand, and this is something I learned the hard way, is you can make the best solution, the most tailored solution for the operations of your client, of your boss, of your director. If you don't ensure that the people, the operators, the managers, everybody knows how to use your solution, use the tool that you've made, then it's pointless. So the solution that you make is only as good as the adoption of the solution that you make. For the dashboards, what this meant is, and it's a big company, it was sitting down with my boss, with the director, with all management that would be in a position that would benefit from having access to this dashboard, sitting down and explaining, okay, this is where you can find it, this is how you can use it, this is what it's made for. Because these people are busy, they don't know what you're making and they don't know the use of it. So you have to sit down and explain, this is what it's for, this is how you can use it, and this is where you can find it. Because you have to ask yourself, if they don't know how to find it, if they don't know how to use it, or if it's a little bit too complicated to use, because sometimes what's logical to me won't be logical to them. If those three things are not met, then the adoption won't be effective, and it doesn't matter how good your solution was. If it's not adopted properly, it's not going to get used. Part of making a good solution, again, is simplicity. So you're tackling the shortcomings and you're doing it in the most concise, most simple way possible so that everybody can adopt it, so that everybody can use it. And that right there is good value. At the end of the day, this whole framework will be measured by its impact, not just by how good the solution or how well engineered the solution is. What is the impact? How much are people actually using it? How much is that positive value that it's brought to the firm actually leading to differences in results? That's what you're looking for. So that's the C.A.S.E framework in a nutshell. That's C for clarity, A for analyze, S for solution, and E for execution. If you follow this framework, you won't just solve problems, you will become the person who is trusted to solve the problems, the person who is given the hardest problems to solve, and that is not just fulfilling, but that's a great opportunity. In your career, in your personal life, in the gym, whatever you're doing, this sort of thing is what sets you apart, your ability to solve the problem. So I hope this helped. If this video provided any value, subscribe and hit the like button, and stay tuned if you like these sort of problems, frameworks, supply chain, and everything else.